Hey guys, Saloon here. I'm finally back with the last episode of my Zero to Hero journey, which means I did indeed reach 2500 rating by pugging on my own without any help from guildies or friends. I don't really want to make any excuses why this episode took more than a month to make. The simplest explanation is that sort of mid-December my eye problem intensified. My left one was very red, painful, and I could hardly see anything. I had an emergency doctor's appointment on the 24th where I was given new medication, and it's been kind of recovering since. On top of that, it was the holiday season as well, and although I was not in a very celebratory mood, I just wanted to take it easy. Now I'm going to quickly recap where I was previously. Last time I was able to time the first +10 key on my survival hunter, and also brick one. I ended the previous episode on 2324 rating and on 616 item level. Let's pick up where we left off, which means my first vault with a mid-track item in it. I had the choice between mid-track tier gloves with lame stats, Hero Track Shoulder, which I didn't need, and Hero Track Spyglass, which I also didn't need. So the obvious choice is the Myth-Track Tier Gloves, and I got a Siege of Boralus +10. I had only time to do this one siege key that week, and this turned out to be one of the worst siege runs I've ever done. We had issues already at the start. The tank pulls were messy, the patrolling raider got pulled and killed us several times by hooking us into frontals. We spent a lot of time and deaths in this courtyard alone. Then, before the first boss, the tank just randomly dies. By the time we pulled the first boss, we had 17 deaths. The key was long gone by this point, but I honestly just wanted to finish it to get another myth-track item in my vault, as this was going to be the only key I'm doing this week. As you can see by the end, we had 24 deaths, and we raised that to 26 because the evoker dies, and then I die because the tank stepped out of the tentacle's melee range, so it aggroed onto me. We finally finished this hell of a key, giving me only 13 score, which put me to 2337. Then the next vault rewarded me accordingly for this key, because I had a really bad trinket as my only choice. At this point, my eye was in a really bad shape, so for the next 2 weeks I didn't log in at all. Meanwhile, a new patch came out, the Siren IO. This brought a big change to Mythic Plus because they finally upped the crests gained from dungeons overall, reduced the conversion rates, and the enchanted crest cost. It also brought a very underwhelming ring with not very interesting powers, but more annoyingly, I encountered some kind of bug almost every step of the way when I was unlocking the Siren Isle and tried to collect the best in-slot gems for the ring. I personally don't mind filler content like the Siren Isle. As an avid collector, I welcome any new added cosmetics to the game, but when it's unplayable, that pisses me off. They fixed the issues to my knowledge since then, but it still left a bad taste in my mouth. In the end, I got 2 out of the best in-slot gems, upgraded the ring twice, and then I upgraded my crafted weapon to 636. This altogether pushed me to 621 item level. The first key after my break was this Mist +9 you've been watching while I was speaking about the Siren Isle. This dungeon was a cakewalk. We easily +2 this key, giving me a score of 32, which put me on 2369. I got a neck, which is best in slot for me, but I traded it to the druid as I was just grateful to be invited after not playing for a while. I also looted a +8 key, which was Ara Kara. My highest was a 7, so I decided to send it. This dungeon went the same way it always does. We had one single death up until the last boss, where then 3 of us fumbled, one being me of course, the same way I always do, by getting hit by a poison blob. Despite that, the 2 paladins and a monk were able to kill the boss, thus 2-chesting this dungeon. I got a +10 Siege of Morelos out of this, and I wasn't very keen on doing that, so I decided to try my luck and sign for some 10s. To my great amazement, I was invited to a +10 miss. I was really happy. I honestly didn't expect to get any invites for any 10s at all, but there it was. This key went pretty smoothly once again. There were some individual deaths to small mistakes, but nothing major. This is my second +10 timed, which gave me a score of 21, which put me to 2,402 in total. That's where I ended that week. Next week started in 2025, and the first vault of this year was pretty decent. I got a Mythtrack tier chest and a +10 Grim Batol key. I tried to sign to other people's keys again, but I had no luck this time, so I did my own key, which I still hate to do. I mainly started this series to get over my anxiety about pugging, and I partially succeeded because I have no problem signing to other people's keys, now at least, but putting my own key up feels still scary sometimes. I was able to fill this key pretty quickly as a pre-made of tank, healer and a hunter signed up, and I invited a mage for an extra curse dispel. The dungeon went really well, only the marksman hunter died a few times up until the last boss. On the last boss I made an epic mistake where I ran into a tentacle, and as it drops me, I got the circle debuff and I was running over the healer and the mage with it, and I go down with them. Luckily the hunter and the tank could finish off the boss. We were missing a tiny percentage, so we went back for a lava bender. We managed to time this key, which gave us a score of 41, putting me at 2,443 in total. I got cursed with another Stonewood key, which annoyed me greatly. To reach 2,500, I either needed to 2-chest a +10 or do 2 more 10s. My best options were Ara Kara, City of Threads and Necrotic Wake. Ara Kara is an easy dungeon but really hard to get into because it's easy. Necrotic Wake is kind of mid, and City of Threads has a high failure rate. I thought to myself, okay, I got at least 1 10 done for the week, so I'll sign for City of Threads keys and see what happens. Well, the key holder's name was Zippy. Man, if you ever see this video, I want to apologize because I messed up so bad. I'm the one to blame for bricking this key. It started out smoothly until we got to the first boss. I'm personally used to move backwards on this boss to make like a large U shape, but we went to the left, but I didn't realize and died fast. To be fair, the tank had no marker and he didn't ping either, but still, my bad. I was picked up and then die again to a bow. Soon everyone was dead apart from the tank, who was not able to solo the boss because of the affix. On the second attempt, I got the tank stunned not once, but twice. He didn't die to it, but at one point he just randomly fell over and he kinda boxed us in anyway. After this we all just gave up on this key. My performance in this dungeon was piss poor to say the least, and I felt terrible about it. After I calmed down a bit, I tried my luck on the Q simulator again and got invited in for a +10 Necrotic Wake. As the key began, the tank did a gigantic pull and I thought to myself, why are we not lasting this? I had to pop all my defensives to survive here, and so did everyone else, but we managed to get through it with no deaths. The tank took a route I haven't really seen before that made us skip the first javelin. During the first boss, the alley shaman went in another direction, so he was heavily cornered on his own, but somehow was able to get to us. towards the end, so we defeated the first boss. Nobody was moving for the silencing orbs, so I did. I used one on the pack before the bridge, the second one on the middle pack. This wouldn't be a Necrotic Wake if I wouldn't get bonked by the Marauder again, but I was standing behind it, so I'll call that bullshit goblin hitbox discrimination. I saved the third orb for an ad phase on the second boss, but we handled each ad phase nicely, so it might have been not needed at all. We got a nice clean kill on the second boss. We finished this dungeon with little to no issues, which gave me 39 score, taking me a total of 2482. I needed one more dungeon, which could be either Ara Kara or City of Threads. I tried to sign for more Ara Karas, but it was Tuesday night on EU. It was pretty impossible to get into any. Before I logged off, I upgraded my cloak to 636 as well, so now I was at 623 item level. The last vault of the series gave me a nice Smith Track belt, which was a huge upgrade because I still had champion. The key I got was unfortunately Dawnbreaker, so I decided I will only queue for Ara Kara plus stance. I sat in Ashkehat for about 20 minutes, but I finally did get invited. We had a healer shaman who left before the key started, so I knew that meant he didn't like something. After the key started, I saw one of the monks was 603 item level. I honestly didn't care, because this dungeon is easy and I just wanted a chance to time this key. In typical fashion, the hardest part was the last boss. The mage died early in the fight, not sure why, then later on the Windwalker and the healer died too. It was down to me and the brewmaster to finish the fight. Luckily the boss was low enough that we managed to do it. I got 36 score out of this, which took me to 2518 in total. Although this journey took a bit longer than I wanted, I'm really glad I did this. I feel like I improved a lot from it. I used to struggle with interrupts a lot in the past, and now I got to a point where I want to have the highest interrupts in the group rather than DPS. I also feel a lot more comfortable joining pug dungeons. And of course, I really enjoyed Survival Hunter. It plays very smoothly, does a lot of damage, and it's not difficult to play. I will do another challenge in Season 2 of The War Within. I want to thank for everyone's patience and time for watching the series, especially if you've been watching from the start. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye!